Imagine you wake up at 5:30 a.m. The alarm hits. Your bed is warm. Your brain whispers, just 5 more minutes. And in that small moment, between comfort and commitment, your entire life path quietly pivots. We love to talk about motivation. Find your why. Stay inspired. Hack your habits. But have you ever noticed how motivation vanishes the moment things get hard? Here's the question that matters. If motivation fades when we need it most, what actually keeps a person moving forward? The Stoics had an answer, an idea so powerful it's still shaping lives 2,000 years later. They believed discipline, not motivation, is the true foundation of freedom. And today, we'll uncover why. The Stoics, thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, lived in a world of chaos, wars, plagues, emperors gone mad. They didn't have vision boards or self-help podcasts, but they understood something timeless, that emotion is fleeting while principle endures. For them, motivation was just wind, unreliable, unpredictable. Discipline was the oar, the thing that lets you steer your ship when the storm hits. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, wrote in his journal, "At dawn, when you rise unwillingly, have this thought, I rise to do the work of a human being." That line captures the heart of Stoicism. The tension we're exploring today is this: motivation feels good, but it's discipline that builds good lives. So let's dive in. Motivation feels powerful, doesn't it? That rush after a TED Talk, that spark after watching a gym transformation reel. You swear this time will be different, but by Tuesday morning, the fire's gone. Because motivation is emotional fuel, and emotions, by nature, are temporary. The Stoics saw this clearly. They believed emotions aren't enemies, but they're untrustworthy captains. You can't steer a life by the weather. Epictetus put it simply, "No man is free who is not master of himself." So the Stoic insight is this: if you wait to feel ready, you'll never start. The disciplined person acts not because they feel like it, but because they've decided to. And that's the paradox. Freedom isn't doing what you want. Freedom is doing what you've chosen, even when you don't want to. Here's the twist. Discipline looks like restriction, but it's actually liberation. Think about it. A musician who practices scales for hours isn't free in the moment, but later they can improvise anything. A runner who trains every morning sacrifices comfort, but gains endurance to run anywhere, anytime. The Stoics saw discipline as alignment with nature, not obedience, but harmony. They believed the universe is ordered by reason, logos, and our role is to live in accordance with it. So discipline isn't punishment, it's participation in that order. When you act with discipline, you're saying, I choose reason over impulse, order over chaos. Modern science backs this up. Self-discipline predicts success better than IQ, socioeconomic background, or raw talent. Why? Because it builds consistency, and consistency compounds. Motivation burns bright and dies. Discipline burns slow and lasts a lifetime. Let's zoom in. Neurologically, motivation lights up the brain's reward centers, the dopamine spike that says, "This feels good." But discipline lives in the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for planning, focus, long-term vision. So motivation is chemical. Discipline is structural. The Stoics didn't know neuroscience, but they practiced it intuitively. They trained their minds daily through journaling, reflection, voluntary discomfort. Seneca would take cold baths. Epictetus, once a slave, taught his students to visualize losing everything so they wouldn't cling to comfort. Their logic was brutal but brilliant. If you practice hardship, life can't surprise you. Therefore, discipline is not suppression, it's preparation. Now, let's bring this into our world. The attention economy. We live surrounded by infinite stimulation. dopamine on demand, endless scrolling, instant everything. Motivation is the currency of this world, manufactured, packaged, and sold to you as inspiration. But here's the uncomfortable truth. In a world designed to hijack your attention, discipline is rebellion. When you log off, meditate, or work silently on something hard, you're stepping outside the algorithm. You're doing something radical. You're choosing your life instead of reacting to it. The Stoics would call this apatheia, not apathy, but freedom from disturbance. The ability to stay centered no matter how noisy the world becomes. Here's one more angle most people miss. Discipline isn't just about grind or productivity, it's about love. When you're disciplined in a relationship, you listen when you don't feel like it. When you're disciplined in art, you keep creating even when inspiration's gone. When you're disciplined in your values, you stay kind even when life tests you. That's what Marcus Aurelius meant when he said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one love that lasts is disciplined love. Purpose that endures is disciplined purpose." That's not rigidity, it's devotion. So let's step back. We began with a simple observation. Motivation fades, discipline remains. We saw how the Stoics treated discipline not as punishment but as power, how modern science echoes their wisdom, and how, in our overstimulated world, the disciplined mind becomes the rarest form of freedom. Here's the deeper insight. Motivation depends on how you feel. Discipline depends on who you are. And that's the Stoic secret. If you build discipline, you no longer need motivation. You become the kind of person who does the work, rain or shine. So the next time you don't feel like it, ask yourself, am I waiting for the wind, or will I start rowing? At the start, I asked, what keeps us moving when motivation dies? Now we know. It's discipline. The quiet, unglamorous, daily act of showing up. Marcus Aurelius woke up every morning as Emperor of Rome and reminded himself, I rise to do the work of a human being. So do we. Because in the end, the Stoics were right. The path to freedom runs straight through discipline. What do you think? Is discipline the real key to happiness, or just another form of control? Drop your thoughts below. And remember, don't wait to feel ready. Act with purpose. That's where true power begins.